Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, it was the spring of 1978. I was almost 8 years old, and my mother abandoned me and my two sisters. She left us with my father, and she just disappeared. She could not handle my stepfather stalking us, hunting us, finding us, terrorizing us repeatedly. For over a year, we were on the run from him. And so, yeah, she dumped me with my dad, and she left my sisters there too. And she trusted my dad to do the right thing, okay? And instead, my father gave my little sisters to Jerry Lynn. I cried. I begged him not to. I couldn't tell him everything. I was a little kid. Couldn't tell him everything. But he said they're not my daughters. He's their father. I have to. And he gave them to him, to a psychopath. Just handed two little girls, two little baby girls, over to a sexually molesting psychopath. And so my father had custody of me at this point by myself. And that lasted all of 6 weeks. Listen, right around the time I turned 8, by the time my father got me, I was an extremely damaged little kid. Had nothing to do with me being trans, by the way. Let me be crystal clear. Because my dad likes to say, I was born locked out of the closet, honey. There was never anything about me that tried to be male, acted male, perpetrated myself as a male, and it pissed off every person in my family. I refused to conform. I was one of those kids that just refused to conform. I was who I was. And no matter how hard they tried, I continued to be who I was. But now, by the time my father got me that summer or that spring, I was damaged. I had been raped for 2 years. I had been raped as a little kid by my stepfather, who I was supposed to be able to trust, right? And terrorized and beaten. And, at one time he put me in a fucking diaper and threw me in the front yard at like 6 years old. Like, just terrorized, just absolutely terrorized. And so I was a damaged little kid. And frankly, I was too much for my father. I was way too much for my father to handle on his own. He was woefully unprepared for a child as fucked up as I was. And I mean, I acted out. There was every sign. In today's society, believe me, in today's society, my father would have had me in therapy at a psychiatrist, figuring out what was going on. Why was I doing all of this? But no, 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 he didn't. And I mean, I was setting fires. I was wadding up balls of toilet paper in the bathroom and setting fires around the bathtub, setting fires on the toilet seat, watching them burn. I was urinating in the corners like an animal. Um, I was terrorizing the parrot. My dad had a parrot named Berta, and I was terrorizing her. I would let her out of the cage and I would hunt her through the apartment with a water gun and terrorize her. Just, I was acting out. I was acting out very, very, very badly. And, you know, the thing I will say about being a trans child, okay, when you're a trans kid that's not, I know that there are trans kids who don't know they're trans and who act like cis kids and all of that. I'm not one of those. Neither are any of my closest friends in life, to be honest with you, but I wasn't one of those. And boys found me. Listen, boys found me. They were on my scent at a very early age. And because of what I had gone through with Jerry Lynn, I was extremely sexually precocious, very young, very young. And so, turning 8 years old at my dad's apartment, that lasted 6 weeks because I started entertaining parties of boys while he was at work. Like, I would have 6 or 7 boys in the house at once. And things were going on, sexual things were going on between me and these boys, including a 13-year-old. I was 8. There was a 13-year-old in there. And listen, my dad had a girlfriend at the time that had left a nightgown at his apartment. And these little boys even asked me to dress up in the nightgown and parade around for them and stuff. Like, they knew I was feminine. They knew I was not a regular boy, okay? And So my dad would come home from work during those 6 weeks, and there would be the back window of the bedroom would be wide open, and there would be like gangs of boys climbing out the window to get out of the house before he could walk in the door, right? As soon as I would hear his car pull up. And I was supposed to be grounded, of course, for peeing in the corners and lighting fires and terrorizing the bird. But he didn't back it up. Like, he didn't back it up in any kind of way. My father just didn't know how to deal with it. He just did not know how to deal with it. And maybe he was too young. Let me stop making fucking excuses for him. He just was woefully unprepared for someone like me. And I was not the child he frankly wanted. You know, it's hard for me to say that, but in hindsight, how am I supposed to believe anything else? I was not the child he wanted, you know? And I found my piggy bank that my dad was saving up money for my college fund one day. And apparently there was like $300 in there, you know, and I blew it on parties with those boys during that 6 weeks. And so finally my father gave up. He gave up and he took me to my grandmother's, his mother, my paternal grandmother. And I moved in with my grandma, where I would spend the next 3 years. And if y'all want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. And please try to repost this as much as you can. TikTok is suppressing trans creators. I know they are. I can tell by the views I see on people's videos. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.